Alright, what's going on, everybody? Just woke up, so I'll try not to be so incoherent and babbling. So yesterday, at work, I decided to check out the Thunder Lizard or Lightning Lizard, Thunder Wizard, his YouTube channel to see if what is he talking about. I don't know why, you know. And I even said in that comment, if you're gonna keep going back to his channel, see if he transforms to fucking. It's on you. And yet I'm doing it, so it shows you how perfect I am. But nonetheless, I went there to check it out. And he had a video about the Anunnaki. However, I gotta say, the way he was talking, he says, someone asked how long he's lived, or was a question about him being a lizard. He said, we're all lizards. I was happy to hear him say that because of the lizard brain. Now, Thunder Lizard was explaining about my theory on his newest video. I wrote on that comment 5 days ago that he was a little off. I thought, sorry, he was talking about, the comment I wrote was about the reptilian brain, the limbic system brain, and the neocortex, give or take, a very simplified version of it, because, you know, and it was already like a big comment. So, and how he's probably depolarized, and who cares if he's doing it, but yet he's the, anyways. So that was about 5 days ago, and I thought he was a little off at first. I thought he was not accurate at all the way he was explaining it, because he was going from, you know, he's taking on that persona that he is a reptilian, and that they're using your brain stem, which is a reptilian mind, that's an antenna to connect to you, something to that effect. But, you know, in a sense, I realized he was right. But I had to look at it in a different perspective. Then he was stating that the reptilian mind brainstem is not an antenna for the reptilians to broadcast mankind, and that it's not for the reptilians to broadcast fear into humans, and it's not. And this is just the way maybe I took it, but it sounded like he was saying that the reptilian brain was only the fight or flight response. So it was only service. So I wrote a comment back to him, but then I deleted it because I realized I'm coming off as a dick, and I'm doing the exact opposite of what I said to do in that first comment. So I know he's gonna see it, and I provided some more information about certain things like this. So hopefully he, you know, updates his information and he continues to get it on. Because like I said before, I said that Ralph Smart is saying a lot of the same things I was saying, a lot of derivatives of what the latest video, I can't remember what it was about, but it had a lot of coincidental things that I'm talking about. And I said it before, you know, if I, with only 27 subscribers, which I'm grateful for everyone, and once again, it doesn't matter to me. Most of my watch time, like I said, comes from unsubscribed people. 95% of the people watching me are not subscribed. Most of the minutes that come from people are unsubscribed minutes, so it's fine. It doesn't matter to me. So if 25 people is my subscription count, you know, and that's only 5% of the people watching me, well, that means, you know, the other 95 is times 20 people. So you do the math to know how many people are watching me. So it's not a bad number, and I'm okay with that. I don't need that. I don't need it. And that's another thing Ralph Smart's been talking about. So yay. But if he's got, I think, like 19,000 subscribers. So if he's watching me, or learning from my comments, or just using my information and spinning it, putting his spin on it, that helps people. Because there was a few people there that said, the one girl said in the comments, like, thank you, I finally understand it. I've been telling people for years that these are emotional, I forget the word she used, which to me wasn't accurate, but you know, everybody understands something in a different way, and everything's true to somebody in their own special way. So who the fuck am I to go around telling people how to fucking take things? So that's why I pulled down my comment, because I'm like, why am I judging this guy? Why am I so pissed off about him giving this wrong information out? Why am I so upset with him doing this? And then, you know, I had to really think about it. And then as I watched that video, it started to make sense to me exactly what he's doing. I'm not going to say it in case anybody watches me that watches him, which I doubt, but still, you know, someone might have saw my comment, came over here, and that's cool if you did. Thank you for coming over, but I'm not going to give up his charade and just keep watching. It'll click with you as well, but I can definitely help you with some ways on how to make that happen faster and to protect yourself and for you to stop being in fear and stop his so-called the reptilians from being able to control you. And in his perspective, what he's saying is whenever you're out of that mindset, when you're not in the fear mindset anymore, then they can't find you. Which on one level, he's not wrong. That's kind of how it works. But it plays more into like attracts like and the vibration you're on. And, you know, if you're in a shitty mood, you're going to get shitty fucking thoughts. Which, like I said, the shitty thoughts are like shitty spirits. Whether that's some fucking demon or some fucking reptile, it's still some fucking stupid thing you don't want fucking controlling your brain, right? But understand, if you're going to hate reptiles, on some level, you might be sending hate to your own part of your brain. So please don't do that. All right. So according to him, the reptilian mind fuck is to get us scared of all and to get us scared of all, like the world, basically. And when we turn to God, but there's a Satan. There also has to be a Satan there as well. And we feel disconnected from our creator because how we can resonate, how can we resonate with a made-up thought form that isn't any good at helping us manifest or give us what we want? So, and the whole time, like I said, I was overcome with my ego, like I am right and he is wrong. And as I study the brain, and I'm currently doing a review on the importance of breathing and breath and how it affects you, there was things starting to click, and I started coming out of my own ego. I started coming out of my own, instead of being consumed with, oh my God, I gotta write something, this guy's fucking going too far or whatever else, which was just stupid because he wasn't. He was doing it, he's actually providing a service, I think, anyways. But, you know, that was just coming over me. It's like, why is it? No, I reject that. I banish that. Like, I'm not gonna fucking think about this. This is not gonna serve me. Why the fuck do I care what he's doing? You know? So, anyways, but as I sorry, where was I? So to earlier yesterday, first or the second videos, about breath, I stated God, bad, evil, devil, good and bad, parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous systems. I insinuated that maybe there's a link there, maybe there's a tie there. So, and that's, I might elaborate on that in a few. And stated thoughts are like spirits also in one of those videos as well. And if you, in fact, the word for breath, and the Latin word for breath is spiritus, and a lot of those words come from the root word spir. And a fun fact, there was, I was doing study for the brain yesterday, and anyways, there was this one part of the brain, I can't remember the name of it, but anyways, it started with the fucking root word spir, S-P-I-R, and then it had a few more letters after that. But when I looked into it, it was a part of the brain that the pineal gland was in. I was like, oh shit, I knew that I fucking caught that for something. I knew I remember that for something. But anyways, okay, breath of spirit says not only the respiratory, inspire, expire are also other words, synonyms for breath. All that is to say, I was playing with the idea of the two respiratory systems, or the two nervous systems, not respiratory systems. We have one respiratory system, but the two nervous systems governs over how we breathe, and then that activates certain parts of your brain. So really, air comes first, which is something I'm gonna have to get into later on, and I already have notes written down for that. But people think the thought comes first all the time. So thought comes first, but sometimes it's your breath, but then it's your thought. It's like, which one comes first? Well, air is first, but air is thought. So it's first, but it's linked. So, but I forgot to say, if we breathe right, will we be inspired? I said, if we don't breathe right, then we're going to expire. That's what I said. And I made the assumption that after a certain amount of time. All right, sorry about that. My daughter doesn't know how to upload to YouTube. Yeah, they're all chipping off the old block here. Step boy and two middle kids. But anyways, so, but I forgot to say, if we breathe right, we will be inspired. But I said if we expire, and I also said, sorry, I forgot where it was. I also said that I read somewhere, and I can't remember where, and I still haven't found it yet. I've been actively looking off and on for it. One where it said that life is just a number of breaths, and if you're breathing too fast and you're in your sympathetic nervous system and you're continuously breathing going too fast because you've got an issue, you got problems, something is triggering your mind. And I actually found out what that is. There's a part in the brainstem. Anyways, there's these two little anyways, these things are like little meters on your brainstem that judge using the carbon dioxide, a couple other things, but mainly carbon dioxide levels around these different neurons. And whenever you have too much carbon dioxide there, it's telling you that that basically says you have too much carbon dioxide in your blood, and that's not a good thing. It is problematic, because yesterday I was also a few days ago, anyways, I found out that carbon dioxide is one of the burn-offs when you're losing weight, when you're burning fat. So when you burn fat, 85% of it, 80 to 85% of it turns into carbon dioxide, and 15 to 20% of it turns into H2O, water. So CO2 or H2O, okay? That was strange. Phones just falling out of nowhere from fucking shelves when they shouldn't fucking fall. That's the story of my life. But anyways, so, and internal, the 4-stroke combustion gas engine, whatever you want to call it, is very similar. That's what I was talking about yesterday, how it burns off CO, carbon monoxide. There's also water that burns off there too, a very small percentage, among other things, different fossil fuels. But point is, we burn CO2 when our heart rate goes up. That's one of the ways, that's one of the useful parts of going into the sympathetic nervous system, which is controlled by your reptilian brain. You are still conscious. You're not unconscious. You're not in your subconscious, but your subconscious is telling you to breathe faster, and it's igniting these things because you need to intake more. By intaking more, you are creating more carbon dioxide. But you need to remove that carbon dioxide to effectively remove that weight, because it's still in you. Energy is just energy. You can eat it, and then you can burn it up. It doesn't transform into energy. It doesn't change muscle into fat. None of that. That's all horse shit. You burn off the fat. Proteins go in you. If you keep them, you keep them. If not, you piss them out, most likely. A lot of people think you shit them out, but it's mostly piss, depending on the proteins. But there are some that you can shit out, apparently, but I'm not done looking that up. But proteins are proteins. So proteins are never really bad, depending on how it is, which might be why there's a semi-attack on meat. But nonetheless, I still remain and retain my stance on eating meat. But nonetheless, because there's a certain point where if you're cooking your food, we know this, things burn out. I mean, you're not keeping protein unless you're eating the meat raw. So it's kind of silly. You know what I mean? You could leave it red and more iron and all that, and yes, but if you don't have certain type of minerals, you can't intake that shit. Just like with the water. I mean, I've said this many times as well, is I put Himalayan sea salt in all of my drinks. Every single one. It helps that I like salt. I've always liked salt. And I don't eat the white stuff, but there's 82, I think, minerals, or 88 minerals in Himalayan pink sea salt. I think the only thing higher than that is Celtic salt, or Celtic sea salt, which I've never found. Otherwise, I would have tried it by now. But when you put a mineral in your water, it brings the pH up. Basically, when you have too much carbon dioxide, when I was talking about how there was these little sensors, I can't remember the names. Fuck, I think I have this here somewhere. I write it down. Son of a bitch. Limbic helps for memories. Sensors, no sensors. No, I didn't fucking write them down. Son of a bitch. But anyways, so on the brainstem, on the reptilian brainstem, it has these little sensors that measure the CO2 level, basically. And when your CO2 is too high, one of the things it's telling you, one of the things you know, is that you have too many protons. And I'm hoping I'm getting this right. I'm gonna relook at it. This was like at 3 in the morning last night, and I woke up at 8, and I only went to bed at 4. But nonetheless, meditation, baby, that's why I got all the energy. I don't even have coffee in me yet. Fuck that. I don't need activating my sympathetic nervous system right off the hop with coffee. You know what I mean? I'm just waking up. Why do I need all that energy? Why do I need my heart beating fast? Why do I need to be put in fight or flight as soon as I wake up? And it fucks up the rest of my day. And it puts me in this like attracts like, but the wrong kind of like attracts like, where I'm attracting negative thoughts and anxiety. I don't need that shit. So I'm not going to start my day off with a coffee. I'm going to wait a few hours till I need to do something that requires my body to do that. And then if I start doing it and it's not so easy and I'm kind of dull, well, then I might add a little bit of spice of, you know, that good Colombian shit that isn't the cocaine, that is the coffee. But nonetheless, point is, too many protons means low pH, okay? Or sorry, high pH. Low. I don't know. Too many protons, low pH. More electrons, high pH. I used to always think neutrons, because negative neutrons, right? But that's neutral. Negative is neutral, all right? Or sorry, negative isn't neutral. Negative is electrons. And there's protons. Protons, neutrons, electrons. Negative, positive, neutral. There's always three. This duality shit's bullshit. There's three. But the three are one. So fuck it. Stop believing in that shit. But anyways, where the fuck was I going? Oh yeah, so high pH. Just one. That was just some fruit for thought. But so that was all to say that when you lose weight, you're trying to lose weight, you need to breathe right. So slowing down, activating your parasympathetic system helps. Sympathetic, I said this before, sympathetic concentrates on bringing the oxygen in, which helps because you need oxygen in to burn the weight. Okay, so when you're working out, heart rate speeds up, you're breathing more, and you're breathing to bring oxygen in. The more oxygen you bring in, the more carbon dioxide you're gonna burn off. So that's important. So if you want to lose weight, you don't even have to work out. Activate your parasympathetic, or activate your sympathetic nervous system for a while, and just sit there and fucking start doing some heavy fucking breathing, concentrating on the inflow. And then when you're done that, slow your heart rate down, concentrate on the outflow. Why is it that when you're done working out, you're supposed to bring your heart rate down right away, and that's how you burn weight fastest? I was taught that. I learned that at school. I learned that in a lot of places. When you're done working out, you drop your heart rate, and this burns the most calories. Well, because when you slow down your heart rate, you burn, you take all the carbon dioxide. All right, so I'll stop talking about that shit, and I'll keep going with what I wanted to talk about. So I forgot to mention that if we breathe right, we become inspired. Now, if you don't remember what I said about inspire, go watch my last video, but in a nutshell, inspire, this has a few definitions, and I gotta get into the definitions even more because this will make even more sense. So I'm gonna just go to a certain point, and then I'm gonna do the definitions, and then I'll keep going. But, so I guess this probably will be the last thing I'll say on this before I go into the definitions. Our sense, we assume watching a movie, listening to music, that our senses give us emotional response. Like a sad movie, you know, makes you tear up and get you all sad. Incredible, meaningful song, like I said, I can fucking get an emotional response, tear up from like guitar solos, drum solos, bass, piano. I can listen to a Taylor Swift song and be like, fucking pop junk. But then listen to a different Taylor Swift song and be like, well, you know what? She really put some fucking meaning into that. That's what fucking Ralph was talking about yesterday, about meaningful songs. Well, one of many things, and I made a video about that, I don't know, a couple months ago, maybe a month ago. So anyways, a lot of synchronicity, that's all. And I'm not saying he's watching my shit at all. I doubt that. But once again, if he had and he does, then great. If I can help influence or help give information, or what's the word I'm looking for? Help someone who's already made like thousands of videos figure out what to talk about. Because obviously he's already talked about all this. Technically I'm copying him. But he doesn't know what to talk about. Again, he watches something like mine. Oh, that's what people want to know. Okay, so he does something similar, but in his view of my shit, it's like, fuck, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? And I commented on the Lizards, or on Thunder Wizard's fucking thing. So for me to be like, well, you're using my information, what the fuck? So, well, why'd you give it to him? You don't want to give him the information if you didn't want to. And I said a long time ago, I don't give a shit. If someone takes on my information as their own and presents it to the world, then great. It's okay. I'm not going to be all, hey, pay me your royalties, bitch. No. But if someone wants to make me their ghostwriter and pay me a good fee, fuck, I'll make their content. I'd fucking kill it for you.